I was born in 1890 in the village of Kim Lien in Nghệ An province. My name was Nguyen Sin Kung, but over time I would go by many names. I grew up under French colonial rule, where my people lived not as citizens, but as subjects. My father was a scholar, a nationalist, and though poor, he instilled in me a deep pride in our heritage and a longing for independence. Even as a child, I saw injustice. Vietnamese peasants toiling while French colonists lived in luxury. I saw the loss of dignity in every bowed head. I did not want a life of silence. I wanted change. In 1911, I left Vietnam aboard a French steamship, working as a kitchen assistant. I had no money, no connections, but I had curiosity. I spent 30 years abroad, traveling through Africa, the Americas, and Europe. I saw the world, and with it, the systems that oppressed and divided people. In France, I joined socialist groups, wrote for newspapers, and advocated for Vietnamese independence. I even petitioned at the Versailles Peace Conference in 1919, calling for basic rights for my people. They ignored me. It was in the writings of Marx and Lenin that I found a framework to understand colonialism, not just as injustice, but as a system. In 1920, I became a founding member of the French Communist Party. I believed communism could be the path to liberation, not just for Vietnam, but for all oppressed nations. I became known as Nguyen Ai Quoc, Nguyen the Patriot. But my final name, the one history remembers, came later, Ho Chi Minh, he who enlightens. Throughout the 1920s and 30s, I trained Vietnamese revolutionaries in China, helped found the Indochinese Communist Party, and laid the groundwork for a national uprising. I was arrested multiple times, sentenced to death, hunted across borders. But I kept moving, always writing, always organizing. I returned to Vietnam in 1941 after decades abroad. My country was now under Japanese occupation, layered atop French rule. I knew the time had come. In the northern mountains, we formed the Viet Minh, a coalition of patriots fighting for independence. I led in secret, but our cause was clear: a free, united Vietnam. When Japan surrendered in 1945, the world was reshaped, but I saw a chance. In Hanoi, before a crowd of thousands, I read our Declaration of Independence, inspired by America's own. All men are created equal. The Creator has given us certain inviolable rights: the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to happiness. The French, however, would not let go of their colony. They returned with soldiers, and we were forced into war again, the First Indochina War. For 9 years, we fought a brutal campaign. We were outgunned, outnumbered, but we knew our land. We had our people. The turning point came in 1954 at Dien Bien Phu, where General Giap led us to a historic victory. The French surrendered. At the Geneva Conference, Vietnam was temporarily divided at the 17th parallel, north under our government, south under a regime backed by foreign powers. I accepted the division as temporary, but peace did not come. The United States replaced France as the foreign power attempting to dictate Vietnam's future. They feared communism, but for us, this was not about ideology. It was about sovereignty. In the North, we built schools, land reforms, and a new government. In the South, the people resisted. The Viet Cong emerged, and the Second War, what the world calls the Vietnam War, escalated. I was aging, ill, but I never stopped writing, advising, leading. My letters to the American people begged for peace. I did not hate them. I hated oppression. I died in 1969 before seeing the war's end, but I had faith in our people. And 6 years later, in 1975, Saigon fell. Vietnam was reunified. My dream was realized, though I did not live to witness it. I asked that no statues be built in my honor, that my body be cremated and my ashes scattered across Vietnam. But my people chose otherwise. They built a mausoleum. They say I am Uncle Ho, more than a man, a symbol of the fight for freedom. Some say I was a communist. Others call me a nationalist. I was both. But above all, I was a son of Vietnam. I believed in education, unity, and compassion. My words still echo. Nothing is more precious than independence and freedom. Across the world, people still debate my legacy. But for those who suffered under colonization, for those who rose up with courage, I remain a reminder that the smallest nations can defy the strongest empires, that the oppressed can write their own destiny. I am Ho Chi Minh, and my heart will always beat with the people of Vietnam.